Hey, Rick.
Hey, Megan.
Here we are. It's a beautiful day. It was windy this morning. Now it's
Yeah.
gorgeous. I mean, I think winter is like over. It was so mild and easy,
Uh,
besides the rain. Yeah.
yeah, I think for the first time this year, I went to the gym at 4:30 this morning without having to freeze my butt off getting from the car to the gym.
I know. I know. We have such little tolerance for
I
for
know, such
anything
wimps.
under 70 around here.
Exactly.
That's why it costs so much to
True.
live here, because it's beautiful. So I got to tell you a little
Yep.
something before we get into
hmm
our
hmm
lesson of the day, which our lesson of today is going to be how to keep yourself out of trouble when you apply for a loan, what not to do at that point. Okay, we'll talk about that one
Yeah.
second. But I wanted to tell you a
hmm
little story.
Sure.
I love like the best kind of customer service. Like if you are doing something good, I am the first person to be like, wow, okay. I love little extras. Like we go to this place to eat down the street. We'll have to go there sometime. It's called Smoke and Fire, Craft by Smoke and Fire. Anyways, down the street.
Mm,
So
sounds
whenever
cool.
we go in, not whenever, it's sometimes, this happens and sometimes it doesn't, but the waiter will like bring us something a little extra, and it's like, oh, here's some garlic bread, I just brought it like extra, like with the cheese and the butter and the whole
Oh,
thing.
nice.
I just love that stuff. So anyway, so I used to use Instacart ever since 2020, because I'm like, you know what? Here's some things I would never like to do again. One of them is going to the grocery store. I just don't think it's any fun at all. And I'd been using Instacart for 2 years, and I swear the cost of my groceries, it was getting really expensive. It was probably, by the time you pay for fees and all this kind of stuff, I bet you're paying 20 to 30% more for your
hmm
groceries.
hmm
And I'm like, I got to stop this habit. They've got you. It's so convenient. Anyway, so I looked around and I saw that Albertsons has an app on the phone, and you can order your groceries and go to the parking lot and they put them in your car just like
Yeah,
that.
cool.
So
Yeah.
easy. And it's the same price as the groceries in the store. There's no extra
hmm
fees for them. And so I was in a meeting earlier and I saw a call come in. It says Albertsons, and it's the one right here at Anaheim off of State College. And it was the manager of the store. And she was calling to see how it was going, that they were,
Wow.
like, how was the quality of the food they were putting in my bags, and were the people friendly that were delivering them. And I thought, I think that phone call just made me Albertsons for life.
Lifetime customer. Yeah.
Yeah.
No
Somebody
kidding, right?
cares. And it's
Hello.
like, I love that. So that's my
Yeah,
feel good story of the day, Rick.
that's very cool. By the way, Target offers the same service.
I really don't
Yeah.
try. I try not to go to Target because I just spend too much money.
Oh, yeah, I try to stay out of there too.
I'm a
As much as I can.
TJ Maxx girl
Yeah, there you
now I'm
go.
an Albertsons girl. Okay. So everybody, thanks for listening to my little story. And Rick, we have a whole bunch of topics to talk about this
hmm
year. This one is really, really huge because it could have super sad consequences. If somebody's in escrow, they could make a mistake that will cost them their home purchase
hmm
and so much more. So bring it to us. Tell us what we should absolutely not be doing when we're buying a home, applying for a home
Yeah.
loan, that sort of thing.
Well, it's really just a short list, really, Megan, of the big things we want to avoid. And honestly, my experience over the years, people make these mistakes, but they're very innocent because they don't know. They
Right.
just don't know what they don't know. So they do things and they go, oh, after the fact, I didn't know that. Now we have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And usually, depending upon the circumstance, I find a way to get around it, but it really creates challenges and potentially could, lose the house
Right.
ultimately.
Right.
And so, but we don't want to have those types of surprises. We typically get the surprises right toward the end of escrow. So everybody's excited they're going to be moving, and then this pops up, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute now, not so fast. We're not buying this home now.
Mm-hmm.
So we really want to avoid that. The biggest thing is there's really three of them. No new credit. And so what I mean by that is don't even do an inquiry. So typically someone will go out and buy a house. Now they're all excited. They go to the furniture store, they go to the appliance store, they want to start buying stuff for the house. It's so cool. And of course, they walk in the store and it's like, hey, guess what? If you apply right now, you get an extra $100 off. You don't have to buy it right now, but if you just apply right now, pick it up later. Okay, so they apply. Well,
Right.
what happens with every home loan, about 2 or 3 days prior to close of escrow, without
Mhm.
exception, I can promise you on every loan, that they do a backup credit report to verify any new open loans or inquiries.
Mhm.
So that pops up as an inquiry. And so now you have to explain what that inquiry is and if there's any new credit.
Mhm.
So if they just do an inquiry and there's no new credit, yes, you can explain that. But sometimes someone will actually go out and pull the trigger and buy the appliances, or they'll go out and buy a new car, as crazy as that sounds. I had a transaction 2 years ago. The guy worked for Tesla.
Mhm.
It was already a difficult transaction. It was nip and tuck all the way through. And right before close of escrow, he bought a Tesla.
Lord have mercy. Say
Because
it isn't so.
but he was getting a great deal on it because he was an employee, but he had to buy it by that date. Okay, well, now we got a big problem. He's like,
Right.
I know, but it was a great deal on the car. I said, yeah, but the house was a better deal, I can promise you.
Right.
Right?
No kidding. People don't
So
understand. It's like now
he didn't know.
you have an extra payment on your credit, and that affects your debt to income ratio.
Big
And now
time.
you can't afford the house. You gotta get a
Mhm.
co-signer. You can't
Yep.
close escrow. So what did you do? Did you guys were you able
Well,
to fix it or?
we had to get a co-signer last minute,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we had a delay of close of escrow.
Jeez.
Got the house, of course, but talk about adding some stress to the process. That will definitely do it.
No kidding. Well, thank God they were able to
Yeah.
get a co-signer. Okay, what else do you have there? So you've got no new credit. Don't even inquire. No
Don't.
matter
Just
how
stay
good
away.
the deal is, just don't do it. Don't co-sign for your family on anything. Nothing. Not
Right.
even a rental. Just do
Correct.
nothing with your credit
Don't
until
touch it. Don't look at it
don't do it. Yeah.
now here's when you can do it. The day after close of escrow, you can buy 10 cars and go on 6 vacations. I don't
Knock
care.
yourself out. Whatever it is
Just
you got.
don't do it before close of escrow. So it's
Don't do
after
it.
close of escrow, not a day before. Okay.
Got it. Okay.
The other big thing is job changes. And someone will be in escrow and they get a job offer, they take it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing wrong with that necessarily, but there's some requirements around it. Okay. First of all, let us know that you're making a job change. But first of all, before you do that, ask me if it qualifies as a job change.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what I mean by that is you don't want to have one job doing something and then another job doing something entirely different, unrelated.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be in the same line of work. So it's okay to change the job as long as it's typically a better pay, better position in the same line of work. You're
Mm-hmm.
okay. But what you don't want to do is go from that full-time job, now I'm going to go part-time,
Right.
or change the type of job you have. So I'll give you another example. I had a transaction, it's been, 25 years ago now, at least. Super good guy, worked for a stock brokerage, great job, great income, good guy, sign his loan documents. What people don't know though, is that on, again, every transaction, every real estate loan, just prior to close of escrow, even though your income has been verified, in other words, pay stubs, W-2s, and so on, every lender is required to call that employer to verify that you're still working there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this guy, again, great guy, signed his loan documents, money's in escrow. The morning of funding, they call his employer and they go, no, he doesn't work here anymore. Like, what happened?
Yeah.
Well, I called the buyer. He says, oh, yeah, I signed my loan documents. I thought it's good to go. I changed my job. I said, okay, great. So what are you doing? He goes, oh, I went self-employed. I'm just working on my own now. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
you can't do that. You just can't do that. Because I just didn't know, Rick. I signed my loan documents. So everything we're talking about now, don't do anything. Not, once your loan's approved, you're still not closed.
Right.
Okay, so when your loan is approved or you sign your docs, that does not mean it's over. It's over when you close escrow.
Right.
So if you're making those job changes, again, you can do it. Just make sure it's a qualified job change before you do it. Okay, or but again, always run it past us first. Don't just
Right.
assume that it works for you, but it's okay for the loan too. It may or may
Mm-hmm.
not. We just want to be
Mhm.
sure. Okay. The other one is no unexplained deposits to your bank account.
Ah, yes.
right? And so again, people they save cash at home. They think, oh, I'm gonna use that for my down payment. And so they go to buy a house and they put $10,000 cash in the bank. Well, yes, you're allowed to do that, except that in the mortgage world, the only funds that are allowed for the down payment closing costs are funds that
Mhm.
you can trace, that are paper trailed.
Mhm.
And so funds that are cash cannot be sourced. And
Mm.
so therefore that any cash deposits are non-allowable toward the down payment or closing costs.
Mhm.
And so what I mean by that is, for purposes of the home loan, it doesn't exist. Can't
Mhm.
use it.
Mhm.
Okay. Also, moving funds around. Yes, you can move funds around, but again, if you're doing that, let us know so we know how to manage that. But what you don't want to do is take $20,000 and keep moving funds around. It's like trying to follow a bouncing ball, right?
Right.
And every time you move those funds, we have to verify that transfer, do a letter of explanation explaining that transfer and where those funds are, and then verify the new funds.
Mhm.
So again, not that you can't do it, but you don't want to complicate that process because it makes the process more challenging, more paperwork, and potentially can delay your closing.
Right. Right. Yeah, nobody
Yeah,
wants that. Well,
yeah,
good. Those are really, really good points, Rick. And I think this is a good education for anyone that's looking to buy, that they know now what to not do.
yeah. And I'm glad we're talking about that. And it really the easy answer, Megan. You know this already. Just ask us. Just
Yeah,
hey, can we
just
do
that.
this? Just
Yeah.
ask. Most of the time, the answer is yes, you can do that. And here's the next steps to do it. No big deal.
Mhm. Yeah. Very good, solid advice. Well, thank you, Rick. I appreciate you very much. All of
Thanks, appreciate
your
you, Megan.
44 years of experience.
I know, right? And I'm only
And
55 now.
I know, exactly.
I
All
know.
right, I'll see you next week.
Awesome. Thanks, Megan. See
Bye.
you later. Bye.